No man can satisfy them, no matter how strong you think you are. Their desire is endless and their craving unstoppable. They hunger for more, and nothing, no one, can stop them. What happens next will shock you. Story by African Tales by Firelight. In the crowded streets of Lagos, 3 women lived different lives but carried the same hunger in their hearts. Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy were tired of struggling, tired of being ignored, tired of watching others live the life they dreamed of. Every day, they prayed for a miracle, but the heavens stayed silent. One evening, Beatrice gathered her friends in her small room. The light was dim, and the air was heavy with frustration. "I can't continue like this," she said, her voice shaking. Sophia nodded, her eyes sharp and restless. "There is a way. Someone told me about it." Mercy leaned back, doubtful, but curious enough to listen. Sophia spoke about an old woman she met in Balagan Market. She described her as strange, almost invisible, but with a voice that cut through noise like thunder. She said if we are brave enough, we can have everything we desire. Money, power, beauty that men will worship. Mercy scoffed. "And the price?" she asked. Sophia's lips curled into a half smile. She didn't say much, only that we must be ready to sacrifice. The room went silent. Beatrice broke the silence first. "Sacrifice what? We already live like beggars. What more can we lose?" The words lingered in the air like a challenge. That night, the women decided they would seek out the mysterious woman. What they did not know was this: every choice has a price, and some prices cannot be paid with money. They were stepping into a darkness that would follow them forever. They went back to Balagan Market the very next day. The sun was blazing, traders shouted prices, and the air smelled of roasted corn mixed with dust. But while everyone else was rushing to buy and sell, the 3 women searched for one person, an old woman Sophia swore had the answers. For hours, they walked through the crowded stalls. Beatrice was beginning to doubt. "Maybe she doesn't exist," she murmured. But Sophia's eyes kept scanning every corner. At last, they saw her, seated quietly under a torn umbrella, far from the busy traders. Nobody seemed to notice her, but her presence was heavy, almost commanding. She was thin, with wrinkled skin and eyes that burned strangely bright. Before they even spoke, she said in a low voice, "I have been waiting for you." Mercy froze in fear. How could she know? She whispered. Beatrice shivered but forced herself to step forward. The woman's gaze swept over them. "You want beauty that will never fade. You want wealth that will never run dry. And you want power over men, power to bend them to your will." Her words hit like thunder, and none of them could deny it. Sophia's voice was steady. "What must we do?" The woman leaned closer. Her breath smelled of herbs and smoke. "Tonight, when the city sleeps, you will come to me. There is a place outside Lagos where no one dares to go. Bring nothing but courage. And know this: what you seek will come with a price that cannot be reversed." Mercy grabbed Beatrice's hand, shaking. But Sophia, bold and hungry for more, whispered, "We will come." Midnight in Lagos carried its own kind of silence. The city that never seemed to rest suddenly felt distant, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy walked together, their footsteps echoing softly on the quiet streets. None of them spoke much. The weight of what they were about to do pressed heavily on their minds. They followed Sophia's lead, leaving behind the crowded heart of the city and moving toward the outskirts. The further they went, the darker the path became. Beatrice whispered, "Are we sure about this?" Her voice cracked with unease. Sophia didn't slow down. Her determination lit a fire in her steps. Finally, they reached a clearing surrounded by tall trees. The old woman was already waiting. She stood in the middle of a small circle drawn on the ground, lit by burning candles that gave off a strange, smoky scent. Around her were clay pots filled with herbs and a bowl of thick red liquid. The sight made Mercy's stomach twist. "Welcome," the woman said calmly. Her voice sounded both soft and commanding. "You have come for what your hearts desire. But remember, nothing comes freely. You must each give up a part of yourselves tonight." Sophia stepped forward, her chin high. "We are ready." Beatrice swallowed hard, while Mercy's hands shook. The woman's eyes scanned their faces. "Once you cross this line, there is no going back. Do you accept this?" One after the other, they nodded. The old woman motioned for them to kneel inside the circle. The air grew heavy, and the flames of the candles flickered wildly as if they knew what was about to happen. The ritual began. And from that moment, the lives of Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy would never again belong to them. The old woman's voice rose slowly, weaving words none of them could understand. The sound was not just chanting, it felt like it was calling something from the air. Beauty has a price, she said at last. Her eyes glowed strangely as she handed them each a small gourd filled with a thick, bitter liquid. Drink, and your lives will never remain the same. Beatrice held hers tightly, her heart racing. She thought of her endless struggles in the market, the way men mocked her, and the nights she went to bed hungry. Without another thought, she swallowed it. The taste was sharp, burning her throat like fire. Sophia raised her gourd next. Ambition filled her eyes. She had always wanted to be admired, respected, and envied. She drank without hesitation, wiping her lips with the back of her hand. Mercy trembled as she stared at the liquid. She wanted wealth, yes, but her soul quaked with fear. What if this is wrong? She whispered. The old woman leaned close, her words like thunder. Child, the world does not reward the fearful. Drink, or remain nothing forever. Tears stung Mercy's eyes, but she lifted the gourd and let the liquid slide down her throat. At once, the ground beneath them seemed to shift. The fire flared high, and the air grew heavy. Their skin began to glow faintly, their shapes curved, their beauty more striking than before. The women looked at one another in shock, already transformed. The old woman's laugh echoed through the clearing. Now men will desire you beyond reason. Wealth will run after you. But hear me well, your hunger will never end. You will taste affection, but never fullness. You will lie in the arms of men, yet always remain empty. No man will ever satisfy you. Your hunger will never end. Her words sank deep, like chains around their hearts. They wanted to rejoice in their new beauty, but instead, a strange emptiness stirred inside them, growing like a shadow. From the moment they returned to Lagos, men swarmed around Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy like bees to honey. Their bodies had changed beyond ordinary beauty, hips so wide they commanded attention, skin that seemed to glow under the sun, and eyes that pulled men in like a trap. No matter where they walked, whispers followed. At first, it felt like power. Beatrice laughed as she dismissed men who used to insult her. Sophia enjoyed the chase, toying with rich politicians and business owners. Mercy, though timid, soon found herself drowning in suitors who promised her the world. But when they finally allowed men into their beds, that was when the truth of the curse revealed itself. Beatrice was the first. The man she chose was strong, the kind every woman desired. He did everything to please her, yet when it was over, she felt nothing. She lay beside him, staring at the ceiling, her body restless. Is that all? She whispered, her voice bitter. The man thought she was joking, but inside, she was screaming. Sophia followed, choosing not one but two lovers at once. She thought doubling the pleasure would silence the emptiness. But even then, as the men collapsed in exhaustion, she felt her hunger burning stronger. She pushed them away angrily, frustrated that no matter how wild it got, her body demanded more. Mercy tried to stay pure the longest, afraid of the old woman's words. But when she finally gave in, tears rolled down her face afterward. The man lay sleeping peacefully, yet Mercy sat up, trembling. Her heart was racing, her body unsatisfied, aching for more than one man could ever give. It became their secret torment. Night after night, they sought men, but every encounter ended in frustration. The curse had given them irresistible bodies, yes, but it had also made their desire endless, a hunger no man could ever satisfy, and soon, the whispers of their insatiable ways began to spread across Lagos. At first, men fought over Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy. Every weekend, cars lined up outside their apartments, men showering them with gifts, begging for just one night. But after the first encounters, something strange began to happen. Beatrice's first lover, a man known for his stamina, left her room in shame. His friends asked what happened, and he only shook his head, whispering, "She is not normal." By morning, he could barely stand. Word spread quickly, how no matter what he did, it was never enough. Sophia's case was worse. Two men boasted they would satisfy her together, laughing at the challenge. But the next day, they could not even look each other in the eye. One of them confessed, it was like fighting an endless battle. She wanted more. I thought I would die there. Mercy tried to hide her shame, but even she could not escape the curse. The man she loved ran from her. His words cut her deeply, but they were true. By the end of that month, men began to run. Some crossed the street when they saw the women coming. Others lied about traveling just to avoid their calls. The same men who once begged for their touch now prayed never to fall into their arms again. But for Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy, the hunger was only getting worse. Their beauty had turned into a weapon, one that punished anyone who came too close. And the emptier they felt, the more dangerous their desire became. The curse was no longer just a secret. It was becoming a shadow over the whole city. Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy felt the truth. They were no longer ordinary women. The ritual had given them beauty, yes, but it had also stolen their souls. Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy had reached their breaking point. For months, they tried to control the hunger burning inside them, but it only grew stronger. No man was ever enough, and their bodies were wearing out. One evening, the three of them gathered in Beatrice's apartment. They were quiet, exhausted, and afraid. Their beauty was still striking, but it had become a prison. Suddenly, Beatrice gasped and fell against the wall. Her chest rose and dropped violently as if her heart was tearing apart. Sophia rushed to her, but before she could touch her, she too collapsed, shaking on the floor. Mercy screamed for help, but before anyone could come, her body stiffened, and she dropped lifeless beside her friends. By the time neighbors forced the door open, the three women were gone. Their perfect curves and glowing skin had already begun to fade. What remained were bodies twisted in pain, like people who had carried too much for too long. News spread fast across Lagos. Everyone who once admired them now whispered in fear. Parents warned their daughters never to chase beauty through dark paths. Men who once bragged about being with them stayed silent. Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy thought they had gained everything: wealth, beauty, attention. But the ritual took more than it gave. In the end, the curse collected its price. From that day, their story became a lesson. Beauty without peace is nothing. Desire without control can destroy. Beatrice, Sophia, and Mercy got what they wanted, but they paid with their lives, because in the end, no man could satisfy them. Please give this video a like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and powerful stories. See you in the next one.